Hello, my name is Bob Best and I'm an attorney at Sullivan & Hollis. I'm here to talk to you today a little bit about grassroots lobbying, what it is and why we're doing it. Now in New Hampshire, you may know that we have 24 senators and 400 members of the House of Representatives. That's a lot of people that are involved with making policy in the state. Now we don't pay our representatives, we don't pay our senators. They're all volunteers, and even the brightest among them come from one walk of life. They may be a physician, they may be a painter, they may be a realtor, and they know that area pretty well, but they don't know everything else for all the different policy areas that they've got to address. So they need people that will help them find those answers, and that's really what a lobbyist like me would do for them. Provide that background information, provide that additional knowledge that would help them figure out a policy question that's before them. Now, how do we make that a little bit better? How do we make that work a little bit better? That's where we get into this idea of grassroots lobbying. As a member of the New Hampshire Acupuncture and Asian Medicine Association, you know your business better than I ever will, and you can speak to it better than I ever could. And we need to find those opportunities for you to be that voice for the association. And the way that we do that is through this idea of grassroots lobbying. Now, in its simplest form, this idea of grassroots is going out and making friends. Going out and meeting your senator and meeting your representatives. Before you ever got a message that you're trying to carry to them, go meet them, get to know them, have them get to know you. There are 24 senators. We all have at least one, well, we'll have one senator and at least one member of the House of Representatives. Sometimes you might have 8 or 10 or 12 members of the House of Representatives, depending on where you live. So there's a lot of people to meet. There'll be members of both political parties, and our effort has nothing to do with political alignment or any of that. We're just trying to get to know folks. So go and talk to them about a kid's soccer game. Go and talk to them about horses. Go and talk to them about your business. Go and talk to them about, which restaurant is nice in town. And by building those relationships and building those friendships, you get to know them and they get to know you. Now, why are we doing all of that? Well, there's a couple of very, very important things that we want our senators and representatives to do for us. First of all, when an issue comes up that's important to us, we need a friend who will consider our opinion, who will look for our opinion, who will have our interests at heart. So they'll see something, they'll see an idea, and they'll say, hey, I wonder what the Acupuncture Association thinks about this. Let me go find them. Let me go talk to them. I met somebody that I know that I could call that knows something about this. And I want to check with them and get them to help inform me about this policy that's before us. And so in that way, your senators or your representatives will use you as a resource, but they'll also be your watchdog. They'll be out there thinking of you when they see something that they think affects you because you've made friends with them. And then the second part of that is there'll be times where we have ideas that we want them to carry forward. And if we've got some friends, if we've got some people that we've worked with, maybe that some of the 400 members of the House are patients in some of your practices, and they're familiar with acupuncture. And if they're not yet, maybe they could become so if you introduced it to them. And then when we have some idea that we want to promote to improve the practice, we have some people already with the phone lines ready to listen when we've got an idea. And you've got to come to them and propose it, and then they've got to put it in writing and advance it forward and help argue for you. And that's so much better, so much easier to do when you've got a lot of friends out there that are familiar with what you do. And that's really the point of grassroots lobbying. One example of how that's playing out is October 24th is the celebration of National Acupuncture Day, and we're working to obtain a proclamation from our governor to that effect. Recognizing that day, as Massachusetts and I think Vermont's governor has done, as well as Michigan and some other municipalities. And so how do you do that? Well, you start out with your representatives and you say, hey, I'm interested in this. Would you carry this message forward for me? And if you've got all those grassroots connections in place, those people will be there for you. Now, You don't necessarily have to make connections with everybody, and you don't have to always agree with everybody's politics on a thing. The whole point of this is that you've got as many friends as you can gather that are going to be there to help you out. And so if you've got 8 members of the house in your community, as I do in Merrimack, maybe there's 2 or 3 or 4 that become pretty good close friends. And some other ones that you just, for whatever reason, you don't connect with very well. But all those connections that you can make are all valuable to you. And so you'll have those friends, the association will have those friends when we want to send out a message. And that's what grassroots lobbying is all about in a nutshell. Thank you for the chance to be here today and to talk to you about grassroots lobbying. My contact information is in the lower right corner of the screen. Give me a call if you want to chat about it. Thank you.